You are determined to find a healthy carb at the store, but unfortunately picked a Group 1 carcinogen's favorite hiding place: rice. A decade of FDA and Consumer Reports testing confirmed something Southern rice producers have never printed on their labels. Inorganic arsenic, the same class of carcinogen as asbestos and tobacco smoke, is in your rice right now. And the brown rice you switched to for your health carries 80% more of it than white rice. 80% more of a known carcinogen in the bag you chose because 20 years of health experts told you it was the responsible choice. That arsenic didn't get there by accident. American cotton farmers spent decades soaking their fields with arsenic-based pesticides to fight the boll weevil. When they stopped growing cotton and started growing rice, the arsenic never left. And now a massive share of American rice grows in those same fields, on soil that's been poisoned for a century, while the label calls it a product of USA. By the end of this video, you'll understand 4 things rice producers hope you never learn: inorganic arsenic, cotton belt soil, the brand trap, and the boil and drain method. Once you know these 4, you'll already be a step ahead of everyone else. Stay until the end, because the cooking method I'm going to show you removes up to 74% of the arsenic from rice you've already bought. That fix works on any bag in your cabinet tonight. We're counting down the 7 worst rice brands in America and the 4 that are actually clean. I promise you have at least one of these in your kitchen right now. Subscribe and let's open the bag. You buy the cheapest store brand rice because the price per pound makes sense for a family. Smart shopper, frugal parent, that's the bait. But here's the hook. Bargain private label rice like Kroger, Publix, or Walmart has one objective: hit the lowest possible price point on the shelf tag. To make that math work, it's blended from whatever surplus lots were cheapest that season. Mixed varieties, mixed harvest years, mixed origins, all in one bag. You measure the water like always, and 20 minutes later, half the pot is gluey paste, while the other half is still chalky. You blame your stove. You didn't do anything wrong because you followed the directions. You didn't know that bag had 3 different rice types that cook differently, all fighting in one pot. Additionally, with no stated origin on the bag, you have no idea if any of it came from the highest arsenic soil in the country. Consumer Reports tested hundreds of rice samples and found that rice grown in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas, the old American cotton belt, runs significantly higher in inorganic arsenic than rice from California, India, or Thailand. Store brand blends don't tell you where the rice came from because they often don't know themselves. That silence isn't an oversight, it's the business model. Rice tip number 1. The single most important word on any rice bag is origin. If the bag won't name a specific country or U.S. state where it was grown, that's the red flag. A brand confident in its sourcing tells you where it came from. You grab the flavored pouch because it's fast, it's cheap, and the kids eat it without a fight. That's the entire sales pitch, and you know it is foolproof. Here's what's underneath that decision. These flavored rice bags aren't really a grain product. They're a sodium delivery vehicle wearing a rice costume. The rice itself is cheap, broken, quick cooking fragments, the lowest grade grain in the aisle. And the flavor is a stack of salt, monosodium glutamate, flavor enhancers, anti-caking agents, and oils holding it together. It's all on the back of the package. The catch is that nobody cares to look. Ben's Original, formerly Uncle Ben's, issued a recall in October 2025 for their Ready Rice products after small stones were found in multiple varieties sold at Target, H-E-B, and Amazon. Stones in the rice aside, the bigger issue is what's been in there all along. A single serving of Knorr rice sides delivers over 700 milligrams of sodium, nearly half the recommended daily limit, wrapped around the lowest grade grain in the building, sold at a premium price because the packet is convenient. You think you served a side dish to your family? You actually served a salt bomb before you ever took a bite of your actual dinner. And like the bargain bag, the origin of the rice inside those pouches is never disclosed. You're paying more for less information and worse grain. The sodium is the feature, the rice is the excuse. You scoop from the bulk bin because it feels like the anti-corporate move. No packaging, no marketing, no brand trying to sell you something. It feels like something a local farm put there, like you're buying real food the way people used to before everything came in a plastic bag with a mascot on it. Well, needless to say, we call foul on this. That open bin sits under store lights, breathing air and humidity, with every customer's scoop dunked back into it. You have no idea how long that rice has been sitting there. It could be a week, it could be since last season, topped off again and again while the old grain at the bottom never actually leaves. Milled rice carries just enough surface oil to slowly go rancid when it's exposed like that. And bins are a documented route for pantry pests. Weevils don't crawl in from outside. Their eggs often arrive already in the grain and hatch in the warmth of your kitchen cabinet. You cook it, and there's a faint, flat cardboard staleness you can't place. It's that oxidized grain. The oils have turned and no amount of butter covers it. And like the bargain bag, there's no origin information anywhere, which means no way to dodge the worst soil in the country. If a contaminated lot ever gets recalled, a sealed bag has a lot code. A scoop from a communal bin has nothing. You can't trace it. Neither can anyone else. Maybe think twice before scooping your rice from the bin. Rice tip number 2. Arsenic is water-soluble, which means you can physically flush a significant portion of it out before you cook. Rinse your rice until the water runs mostly clear before every cook. No exceptions, no shortcuts. That rinse alone removes surface arsenic and the starch that makes rice gummy. It takes 45 seconds. Do it every time. You paid extra for the bag that promises fragrant restaurant-quality Basmati. You pulled the trigger on the upgrade, but that's what they want you to think. Real Basmati gets its distinctive aroma from a single natural compound the plant produces on its own. An authentic Basmati is aged for a year or more before it's sold. That aging is what dries the grain down, concentrates the aroma, and gives you those long, separate strands that hold up to a curry without dissolving into paste. It's a slow process, so it costs money. It's exactly the step a cheap bag skips. Consumer labs tested popular rice brands including Mahatma and found arsenic was present in every rice product tested, with levels ranging fourfold depending on origin and type. Mass market bags wearing the words Basmati or Jasmine are often blends. Real aromatic rice cut with younger, non-aromatic filler grain, relying on bold packaging and a strong first sniff to do the work the rice itself can't. The bag smells incredible the moment you open it. Then it cooks down sticky and flat. The long, separate grains you were promised never show up because the aroma was sitting on the surface, not built into the grain. And you paid a premium per pound for a bag that's part filler, part fiction. You buy organic because you're protecting your family from chemicals. You pay the premium for peace of mind. That's the cleverest bait in the entire supermarket. Here's the truth, and almost nobody makes this distinction clearly. Organic certification governs the synthetic fertilizers and pesticides a farmer is allowed to apply while the crop is growing. Arsenic isn't an additive anyone sprays on. It's an element already in the soil, and the rice plant pulls it up through its roots, whether the field is organic or not. The roots can't read the certification if the arsenic is in the ground that goes into the grain. Organic rules were never written to touch that, and they don't. Consumer Reports stated it plainly. Don't rely on organic to mean less arsenic. 365 Whole Foods, everyday value long grain brown rice scored about a third higher in arsenic than average, the worst result among major brands tested. And Texas Best Organics long grain brown also appeared on the high arsenic list. These are organic products with premium prices, certified by a system that was never designed to measure the one thing you were actually worried about. This is the most successful misdirection in the store. One bold green badge on the front, and the eyes lock onto it. The badge is real. The protection it implies for this specific problem doesn't exist. You're often paying the highest price in the store for the exact same arsenic load, or worse. Rice tip number 3. Organic doesn't mean low arsenic. The certification covers pesticides and fertilizers, not the arsenic that's been sitting in the soil since before your grandparents were born. A conventional bag of California-grown rice will almost always carry less arsenic than an organic bag grown in southern cotton belt soil. The badge tells you how it was farmed, not where. You buy product of USA rice because domestic feels safer. That's the assumption we grew up on. But for most of the last century, the American South, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, was cotton country. And farmers fought the boll weevil for decades by soaking those fields with arsenic-based pesticides. Arsenic is an element, it doesn't break down, it doesn't wash away, it doesn't care that the cotton stopped growing 50 years ago. It's still in that topsoil today, and a massive share of U.S. rice is now grown in those exact same former cotton fields. Consumer Reports testing found that Cajun Country enriched long grain, Cajun Country popcorn long grain, Carolina whole grain brown, and Jasmine Louisiana aromatic brown all appeared on the high arsenic list, with Jasmine Louisiana aromatic brown recording the highest arsenic level of any brand tested. A bag whose entire identity is built around Louisiana provenance, photographed against bayou imagery, marketed as artisanal Southern rice, carrying more inorganic arsenic than any other product in the Consumer Reports study. A vague product of USA Southern long grain bag can carry far more of a known carcinogen than rice grown on the other side of the planet. And the label sells that American origin as a virtue. The century-old pesticide arsenic is still locked in that southern soil. The product of USA label hides every bit of it. You buy brown rice because it's the responsible choice. More fiber, more minerals, more nutrition. You're doing everything right. That's become a trap, and it's the one nobody warns you about. Arsenic concentrates in the bran, the outer layer of the grain. That bran is exactly the part white rice strips away during processing and brown rice keeps. So the very thing that makes brown rice nutritionally superior is what loads it with arsenic. The health upgrade and the poison load are the same layer of the same grain. Brown rice averages about 80% more inorganic arsenic than white rice of the same type. 80% more in the bag you specifically chose for your health. I keep hitting this nail because it's important for you to hear. Uncle Ben's whole grain brown and Great Value brown both appeared on Consumer Reports' high arsenic list. These are the products in the most refrigerators in America, eaten by people who made a deliberate decision to eat healthier. Researchers who've studied the cumulative exposure of arsenic says that eating brown rice 4 or 5 times a week means you're stacking a known carcinogen every single meal, in doses that add up over months and years in a body that can't flush arsenic out between servings. It doesn't leave, it accumulates. The health halo on brown rice is convincing you the responsible choice is the safe one, when the data says something different entirely. Rice tip number 4. Brown rice carries roughly 80% more inorganic arsenic than white rice. I'm not telling you to throw it out. I'm telling you we're about to reveal a cooking method that removes up to 74% of the arsenic from any rice already in your cabinet, and 4 clean brands that solve the problem before it ever reaches your pot. Both are coming. Stay with us. Everything we just exposed, it's all in the grocery store cheat sheet found in the video description. One printable guide you can take to the store so you never have to remember any of this on the fly. Before the clean brands, the one cooking technique that works on any rice you already own, regardless of brand or origin. Arsenic is water-soluble. That means you can physically flush most of it out of the grain before it ever reaches your plate. Researchers at the University of Sheffield published the method. They call it parboil and drain. In their study, it removed over half the arsenic from brown rice and about 74% from white rice, without stripping the nutrients in any meaningful way. Here's exactly how it works. Rinse the raw rice until the water runs mostly clear. Bring a separate pot of fresh water to a full rolling boil first, then add the rice to the already boiling water. Boil it in that excess water for about 5 minutes. Then drain it completely and pour that water straight down the drain. Do not let it evaporate or absorb back into the grain, because that water is exactly where the flushed out arsenic now lives. Pouring it away is the entire point. Add fresh water at your normal ratio, lower the heat, and finish cooking until it's absorbed. 1 extra pot, a few extra minutes, and up to 74% of the arsenic you were serving your family disappears before dinner hits the table. That's not a lifestyle change. That is your future health. Rice tip number 5. We are going to tell you again. Parboil and drain works on every rice in your cabinet right now. Rinse first. Boil in excess water for 5 minutes. Drain completely. Finish in fresh water. The rice tastes the same. The arsenic disappears. the clean brands worth buying. Forget the Cotton Belt and its century of buried pesticide. California's rice valleys were never cotton country, so that soil never absorbed the legacy arsenic in the first place. Two brands worth knowing by name. Coda Farms is California's oldest family-owned rice farm and mill, farming since the 1910s. Their Kokuho Rose is a 60-year-old heirloom variety grown only in the San Joaquin Valley, with the Coda family managing everything: seed nurseries, cultivation, milling, and packaging under their own roof. That full chain of custody is the thing most rice brands are specifically designed to prevent you from tracing. Coda Farms publishes it as a selling point. You can find them on Amazon and at Asian grocery stores nationwide. Tamaki Gold comes from a small, sophisticated rice mill in California's Sacramento Valley, where the same land is farmed using the same cultivation methods year after year. It's nitrogen flushed and sealed immediately after milling to retain freshness, which means the bag tells you something about when it was processed, not just where. It's readily available at Walmart, Wegmans, and on Amazon. It costs more than the Arkansas long grain sitting next to it on the shelf. But that price difference is the space between poisoned and clean soil, but at least now, you know exactly what you're paying for. Real Basmati comes from the Himalayan-fed growing regions of India and Pakistan, soil and water far from the industrial pesticide legacy of the American Cotton Belt, and it isn't rushed to the shelf. Authentic Basmati is aged a year or more before it's sold, which is exactly why it behaves differently in the pot. The aroma doesn't vanish the moment it hits the water like the cheap blends. It deepens as it cooks. The grains stretch long and stay separate. Trader Joe's Basmati, imported from India, tested very low in arsenic, among the best results in Consumer Reports testing. White Basmati from India and Pakistan runs roughly half the inorganic arsenic of most other rice on the market. You're not just buying flavor, you're buying one of the lowest arsenic white rices available in any American grocery store. Remember why rice is a problem in the first place. Standing water creates the oxygen-starved soil conditions that let arsenic dissolve and climb into the grain. A growing number of farmers stopped flooding their fields continuously, alternating wet and dry cycles instead, which keeps the soil chemistry far less friendly to arsenic from the start. Less standing water means less arsenic pulled into the crop, and it cuts water use dramatically at the same time. Look for Lotus Foods by name, or packaging that specifically calls out SRI, the system of rice intensification, or grown with less water. That's your on-shelf signal. It's readily available online at Amazon and Walmart, but might also be on your local store shelf. Every bag is a quiet vote for the version of this industry that's attacking the problem at the root instead of cooking around it later. This is the bag that breaks the trap completely. The number one offender on this list was everyday brown rice, because the brand that makes it nutritionally superior is exactly where the arsenic concentrates. Lundberg Organic or Royal Brown Basmati from California, India, or Pakistan keeps every bit of the fiber, minerals, and B vitamins you went to brown rice for, while coming from the lowest arsenic origins available. Lundberg Organic and Royal can be found universally at most grocery chains, including Target. You survived the list, so here's what to do. Starting tonight, check your pantry for bargain store brand rice with no origin specified. You can do better than flavored pouches and stop buying from bulk rice bins. Any bag that won't name where it was grown, those are your suspects. The Cotton Belt rice hiding behind a product of USA label, the organic badge covering nothing relevant to arsenic, and the daily brown rice habit quietly stacking a known carcinogen in the most nutritious-looking bag in the aisle. Replace them with a rice that has a stated origin. Lean toward California, India, or Pakistan. Stop letting the organic badge do your thinking on this specific issue, and cook with parboil and drain regardless of what's in the bag. Because the method works on everything, and it costs you nothing but a few extra minutes and one extra pot. From bargain store blends to Louisiana aromatic brown, to the daily brown rice habit your doctor probably encouraged. The rice aisle has been running on one assumption for decades: that you'd never look closely enough to notice what the origin label wasn't saying. You looked, now you know. Comment B2E if you made it to the end, subscribe to support us, and check out the grocery store cheat sheet in the description. It's everything we expose on this channel in one printable guide. Thanks for watching.